Hello, sports fans. This is the Bookmaker Podcast with Art Eftekhari, a.k.a. Mr. Bookmaker, your source for the sports betting industry 24/7. Sit back, relax, and listen as Mr. Bookmaker highlights what's happening right now in the world of sports. So, without further ado, here's your host, Art Eftekhari.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Bookmaker Podcast. Yes, that's me, Art Eftekhari. I am your host. Really glad that you're back with us. Now, are you ready to place your bets? Well, obviously you are. You're listening to this because you're ready to take your love of sports to the next level. Don't forget, we have all the links to the best European and Asian bookmaker sites, as well as some US-friendly bookmaker sites as well. You know our website, www.bookmakerinfo.com. That's bookmaker-info.com. Don't forget that. All right. So on our last podcast, you heard about the history of bookmaking and the advantages of betting online. But now it's time for an explanation about the odds. And when it comes to gambling odds, especially going through different online websites, the odds will be presented in three different formats. First, you got your fractional odds. Next, you got your decimal odds. And we even have your American odds. Yeah, no joke. It says that right here. I'm looking right at it. Go to our website, search for our odds conversion chart. It will be really helpful. So before we get to any of the important sporting events coming up and some of the websites you want to know about regarding the odds, let's have a little quick breakdown of this. Now, when we're doing this, you're going to hear the number, 100, right? $100. That's going to be our example that we're going to use many times. Let's start first with the fractional odds. Now, with the fractional odds, these are the odds that are predominantly used in the UK, the United Kingdom. So our first example, 5-4. If you place a $100 wager or a $100 stake to win on 5-4 odds and you win, you'll receive $225. Why $225? Well, that's the wager and the profit. As you remember, the odds, the example we're using, 5-4. You take 5 divided by 4, multiply that by $100, you get $125. Combine that with your wager of 100, that's how you get your $225. Next, for decimal odds. And for decimal odds, these odds are mostly used in Europe and other locations that are not, the United Kingdom, United States, or Southeast Asia. Our example here, 2.25. Now, if you place a $100 wager to win on 2.25 odds and you win, what are you going to receive? Yes, you guessed it, $225. Your wager and your profit. How do you get that? You take 225 minus 1, multiply that by 100, you get $125. Combine that with your wager, once again, $225. Now for the American odds. You're probably used to seeing these if you're big on watching if you're big on watching American football, depending on where you live, or if you're American, the National Football League. Now, our example here, sometimes you see the odds where you see positive 125, maybe you even see a negative 200. Let's start first with the positive. Let's just say you're placing a bet on the Jacksonville Jaguars. You place $100 to win on positive 125 odds, and if you do win, you will get $225. Once again, that's the wager and your profit. Now for the negative odds. Let's just say you're placing a bet on the New England Patriots. Chances are they are always favored. They just won the recent Super Bowl against the Atlanta Falcons. So let's just say you're betting on the Patriots against the New York Jets. And the odds are negative 200. Now, let's go back to that key number we're talking about. Let's just say you want to win a $100 profit. Well, when the odds are negative 200, you will need to place a $200 wager. And if you win, you'll receive $300. That, of course, is your combination of your wager and your profit. So I hope this is helping you out a bit. If you need more assistance, we do have our odds conversion chart. A lot of these websites that I'll be talking to you about are always very, helpful to their users as well. Remember, they want to help you. They want to help you take your love of sports to the next level. And now that you got your explanation on the different odds of gambling, fractional, decimal, or American, let's move forward a bit. So here I am on Bovada.com. That's Bovada.com. I'm taking a look right now at the odds for teams to win the Super Bowl. Yes, you have a perfect chart here of all the teams in the National Football League. You could even type in how much you're willing to risk and see what your payout will be. And earlier when I was talking about the Patriots, so let's just say you want to risk $100. you're going to win $350. The payout here for the Patriots is positive $350. Now, for those of you who are really in the mood to take a big risk, or maybe you just want to throw a little bit of money at a team that nobody expects to win the Super Bowl next season, well, here's your chance now to take a look at the chart and mess around with this a bit. When you have some downtime, I'm sure you want to find something interesting to do. I didn't want to have to mention my favorite team, but I have no choice. Yes, my favorite team is the San Francisco 49ers, but they have the same payout right now as the Cleveland Browns. And for those of you who pay attention to the National Football League, shouldn't be a surprise to you that the Browns also have a huge payout. So with that, let's take a look at the Browns right now. If you decide to risk $100 on the Cleveland Browns, your payout will be $20,000. Yes, that is an extremely huge payout. I know a lot of people are scratching their heads wondering, why would you want to put some money on them? But hey, these kinds of things happen once in a while. Back in 1999, the St. Louis Rams won the Super Bowl. In 2000, it was the Baltimore Ravens. Had anyone put some money on either of those teams, man, they would have been sitting pretty, that's for sure. And while I'm still on the topic of American sports, it's time to talk about the NBA playoffs. The Golden State Warriors, no surprise, they are the favorites, 8-15. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, the odds for them to win are 7-2. And you know what? When it comes to the National Basketball Association and the playoffs, there's really not that many Cinderella stories or really great underdog stories going on. So I'm pretty sure we're all expecting that it's going to be the Warriors and the Cavaliers for the third season in a row. And with that, you should go to paddypower.com to take a look at their odds. That's where I'm at right now. You should do the same. That's www.paddypower.com. Now it's time to shift gears a little bit and now delve into the world of soccer, or football, depending on where you are in the world. First, we're starting off with UEFA Europa League. They're down to the semifinals, the final 4 teams. Ajax of Netherlands will be taking on Lyon of France. That'll be on Wednesday, May 3rd. And right now I'm on bet365.com. That's bet365. According to the odds here, for Ajax, remember that first game will take place in Amsterdam. The odds for Ajax here are 11-8. For Lyon to take that first match, the odds are 15-8. If you want to go ahead and be risky and go for the draw, the odds there are 12-5. And on Bet365, you got a very, very handy website here. For the odds, you could go ahead and switch to whatever you want, whether you want to check out the fractional, decimal, or American odds. Now, the other semifinal will take place on Thursday, May the 4th. That'll be Celta Vigo of España hosting Manchester United. They obviously don't need much of a, introduction. The odds for Celta Vigo to win are 9-4. And for Man United, 6-5. If you want to go for the draw, the odds there will be 23-10. I think those will be some very, very entertaining matches here for the semifinals of the UEFA Europa League. And before we continue, make sure you are checking out our website. The address www.bookmakerinfo.com. That's bookmaker-info.com. Don't forget, if you are checking out our website, you have access to the Bookmaker 101 Basics. You'll find the steps on how to register, bet, and withdraw. Our Bookmaker guide is available to download, and you should read through this more than once if you want to become familiar with this entire process. We even have the betting strategies and the tips you need to be successful, and don't forget to click on the A to Z Sports Betting Legal. Like I've said before, maybe you're not an expert on sports betting, but maybe you could sound like you are. The bottom line is you gotta talk the talk if you want to walk the walk. Now back to the world of sports in soccer. Right now we're just talking about the Europa League. Let's get to the tournament that everyone is wanting to talk about, the UEFA Champions League. And here I am still on Bet365. First, let's focus on the semifinal, the first leg of the semifinal that will take place on Tuesday, the 2nd of May. Yes, this is the real deal again. The battle for Madrid. Real Madrid will be hosting Atletico Madrid in the first leg. I think a lot of people are expecting Real Madrid to win, but I think you gotta realize also that this is a rivalry as well. With Atletico Madrid, you got really great players such as Antoine Griezmann always finding the back of the net. But before I continue with that, let's take a look at the odds. For Real Madrid to win that match, 4-5 here according to Bet365, 11-4 for a draw, and 16-5 for Atletico Madrid. I think I'm smelling an upset here. I'm hoping for Atletico to find a way to get past Real Madrid. As for the other semifinal, that'll be on Wednesday, May the 3rd, Monaco against Juventus. When it comes to Monaco, you really gotta love the skill and effort of Colombian forward Radamel Falcao. And the odds here the odds here in front of me from Bet365, 2-1 for Monaco, 5-2 for a draw, and 5-4 for Juventus. Once again, earlier I mentioned the Europa League semifinals, but I think these semifinals for the UEFA Champions League are going to be a lot of fun to watch. So you do not want to miss those. Get to bet365.com in a hurry. Now, my next recommendation for an excellent online betting website is Pinnacle. And that address, of course, is pinnacle.com. I'm focusing on the English Premier League. Saturday, April the 29th, Southampton will be hosting Hull City. And for those of you paying attention to the EPL, Hull City are really trying to avoid relegation. They need to win, but nevertheless, here are the odds. These are presented in decimal form. The odds for Southampton, 1.666. Not a big fan of that number. Anyways, continuing on. For a draw, 4.020. And for Hull City, 5.530. Sunday, the 30th of April, you got Everton hosting Chelsea. And I'll be quick to say I'm not a big fan of Chelsea, but they're looking good this season. For Everton, the odds for them to win, 3.660. For a draw, 3.640. For Chelsea, 2.070. Obviously, Chelsea are the favorites. They are favored to win the EPL. On that same day, you got Tottenham hosting Arsenal. For Tottenham, the odds are 1.877. For a draw, 3.910. For Arsenal to win, 4.130. We are getting closer to wrapping up this edition of the Bookmaker podcast, but before I do, the 2017 FIFA Beach World Cup is actually about to begin. I know that I've talked to people before, and they've probably made recommendations, who's going to be watching it, why would anyone want to even bet on this? But hey, you know what? The bottom line is, people will bet on anything. For all I know, maybe somebody bet for Mr. T to beat Rocky in Rocky 3. You just never know. And the odds I have right in front of me are from 888 Sport. That's www.888sport.com. Yes, I meant the number 8. The favorites to win the 2017 FIFA Beach World Cup are Portugal, 5 with the odds of 5-2. And actually, this tournament is being hosted by the Bahamas. And you guessed it, yes, the Bahamas are the 200-1 outsiders to win this tournament. They may be the hosts, but, let's face it, they have not really been very successful in the sport of soccer, football, depending on where you are. They are the hosts of this tournament. And the fact is, if you decide to put your money on them and they end up winning, you'll probably be taking a vacation to the Bahamas to celebrate. And with that, sports fans, it's time to wrap up this edition of the Bookmaker podcast. Don't forget to visit our website. That's bookmaker-info.com. If you want to have all the latest sports betting information right in front of you. Remember, you don't need to go to Vegas. You don't even need to go to Macau. All you have to do is subscribe to us on iTunes and visit our website, www.bookmakerinfo.com. And remember, when it comes to online betting, it is all about convenience and safety. I'm Eftekhari. Thank you for listening.
This has been the Bookmaker Podcast with Art Eftekhari, a.k.a. Mr. Bookmaker. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already, please show some love by subscribing to this podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. Till next time, this is Mr. Bookmaker over and out.